Hello, everyone. I am Chinka Bisinga Sarmiento, and this is Concurrent Session 2 for the 10th Annual Youth Ministry Conference. Our topic for this concurrent session is Hope for the Family as Agents of Reformation. As young people, we always hear how we are the hope of the future. But in this context, let us talk about how we can be our hope for our own family and for other families as well. Most of the time, young people prefer to go out with friends or to spend time with their peers. And sometimes they don't realize that they too can give hope for their own families. It is in the family where we learn the basic virtues of faith, hope, and love. And therefore, we can also be agents of hope in our own families. Although I may not be considered as one of the young people anymore, I grew up in community and I grew up in the service of others and in the service of the church through the youth ministry. And as a wife and a mother, I have been a wife for 15 years and a mother for almost 13 years. I believe that my experience in the youth ministry, in the service of the youth during my younger years, helped shape who I am now. And as a mom, it gives me hope as well to be able to pass on all of my learnings, all of the life lessons that I have gained to my own daughter. I am also an educator. I teach senior high school, and I believe that it is also important for me to be able to share to my students what it is that I have experienced during my own time as a youth member. So in the photo, you can see my family, my little family. I am with my husband and my daughter. In this photo, we were blessed enough to be able to go on mission as a family to the Visayas. We went to Cebu, to Dumaguete, and to Bohol to visit the families there as well and to speak with young couples and children in those areas and to share how much God has been real in our lives and how much his love has helped us throughout all of our life circumstances. So in this concurrent session, we are asked this question, first and foremost, what concrete actions can the family take to be better members after going through the challenges of the pandemic in terms of financial stability, emotional support, interpersonal and family relations, and in faith formation? It seems that it might be hard to come up with concrete actions, especially since during the pandemic we were very limited. No, we couldn't really do what we were used to doing. Definitely, the youth ministry was affected during the pandemic. The youth ministry, the brings vibrance to the church by their presence, by being there, by being in the church, by engaging in the activities, by animating the sessions. That is the role of the youth ministers, the youth members, all right? And it was very difficult, extremely difficult to be able to continue doing this because of the restrictions and the limitations that were brought by this pandemic. But are there concrete actions that we can actually take? So I hope that by sharing with you my own personal experiences, my husband and I, before the pandemic, we became the youth ministers of our parish. And during the pandemic, we became the heads of the social communications and media ministry of our parish. And I hope that by sharing our own story, our own experiences, I will be able to pass on to you some nuggets of wisdom that can help you in your own faith journey. When it comes to financial stability, it might be difficult for young people to think of big gestures in order to help the family. Almost all families had difficulties in their with their financial needs during the pandemic because their livelihoods, most of us, our livelihoods were affected. We had to change the dynamics of how we we generated income that can help support the family. But as a young person, what can you do? I believe first and foremost is talk about your expenses and share with one another how you think you can help cover one or some of them. You know, even if you are young, you are very innovative, you are very creative, you can come up with ways on how to earn. But instead of just trying to earn for yourself, ask your parents, ask the family, what is it that you need? I think this is very important. As a young person, your parents might think that you are too young to be burdened by the financial issues of the family. But you don't have to know exactly everything that is happening. But I believe that if you approach them and you ask them what their needs are and where you can help, they would be very glad to talk to you about it or to tell you where you can help them. So talk about it with them. Be brave enough to ask them about it. Secondly, discuss with one another, maybe with your parents or with your siblings or other members of your family, how you can save up and set aside even just a small amount to put together a family fund. I believe that if everybody worked hard, even just a little amount that can be saved can go a long way. I don't think we need to burden our parents too much. And I think that as we transition to adulthood as young people, we begin to take on more responsibilities and taking on more financial responsibilities at home or helping out with the family more, no matter how small your contribution is, can go a long way. And of course, as a young person, as I said earlier, you are creative, you're innovative, and the world of the internet and digital media is right in front of you, and you are a digital native. So do not take this for granted and make use of this um, opportunity, you know, to earn. Maybe you can come up with a small business that you can put up and manage to help sustain your family's needs. During the pandemic, because we were youth ministers, we would get messages from time to time from our members telling us that they are selling kakanin or desserts that their parents made or their older siblings made, and they were helping sell these desserts. They would also sell chips and sauces and meals, right? They were helping out their parents so that they can help support their family's needs. I'm sure that a lot of them were also doing this so that they can also save up on their own. Despite the pandemic, despite the circumstances, I felt very happy and blessed to witness such courage, such innovation from these young people. So it's very possible for us to be able to give hope to our family through financial stability. Next, in the area of emotional support, do you believe that even as a young person, you can offer emotional support to your family? As active members of the family, we can take part in the dynamics of each member by being an emotional support to each one. No matter how young you are, even if you're the youngest member of the family, any act of kindness can go a long way. First of all, let us be sensitive to one another's emotions. Of course, everything that we feel is valid, but how we respond to these emotions can affect our relationships with one another. When emotions are high, when emotions are tense, and we saw this happening a lot of times during the pandemic at home. 'Di ba? Madalas nagkakaroon ng initan, nagkakaroon ng inisan, no? Kasi hindi tayo sanay na palagi tayong magkakasama. At dahil araw-araw tayong magkakasama, paminsan nagkakaroon ng hindi pagkakaintindihan. But we can still be an emotional support to one another. Kapag napapansin mo na meron na nagkakainisan, meron ng hindi nagkakaintindihan, kahit gaano ka pa man kabata, pwede kang tumulong, no? Offer a light moment. Kausapin mo yung tao, yung kasama mo sa bahay, yung member ng family nyo na mukhang merong problema, baka may nahihirapan. My daughter is only turning 13, but she is very sensitive to our feelings, to her parents' feelings. Wala man siyang kapatid, hindi ko alam kung yun yung dahilan, no? Pero she is very sensitive to how we feel. And sometimes, um, if things get a little tense between me and my husband, and she feels the tension even without us saying anything, she will say something that can turn the situation into a light moment, and I am grateful to her for that. Even as a young person, she is offering me emotional support more than she thinks she is, no? Another thing is, try your best to contribute positively to the dynamics at home. We will not be able to eliminate all our individual worries, but at least we can help ease the burden of each member and help uplift them. Maraming bagay na pwede nating magawa sa bahay at para sa mga kasama natin sa family para ma-uplift sila. Madalas kapag tayo malungkot, we can joke around, we can share a life moment, we can share a little story, no? Or maybe we can do a game. Hindi ko alam kung bakit biglang nagkaroon ng sensitivity, how it happened, no? Siguro before the pandemic kasi my daughter was just turning, I think she was 10, turning 11, yes, at that time. And uh, I would always see her as a child. And in these past 2 years, bigla na lang parang nag-mature siya, no? Ang bilis ng pag-mature niya emotionally. And nagugulat na lang ako, kami ng husband ko, because it seems that she is mature beyond her years when it comes to being an emotional support to us. She may not know it, but she is part of our family's, at least my therapy when it came to this pandemic. She knows when she should give mommy some me time, some alone time, and daddy also. And we respect her own time also to be on her own, to take a breath, no, to paminsan she goes out sa garden or sa garage with our dog. Sila lang naglalaro lang sila, nagbo-bonding lang sila. And it goes a long way. If we are able to be sensitive to each other's needs, ang dami nating naiiwasang away, ang dami nating naiiwasang hindi pagkakaintindihan. And you can do that very well even as a young person, even in your young age. You won't know, you will be surprised at how much you can contribute to the positivity in your own family dynamics, in your own home. Related to that is your interpersonal and family relationships. How is each person feeling? No? It's important that we're able to ask each person, how are you feeling? Are you okay? No? And this will help greatly in our relationships with one another. Let's set aside some time to bond, to laugh, to share light moments with one another. Sometimes even the most difficult situation can be eased if we know that we have each other's backs. Yung mga problema natin, hindi naman yan lahat mawawala. But as long as we know that we have people who will support us, and hindi nila tayo pababayaan, hindi nila tayo iiwanan, ang laking bagay nun. Pwede mong harapin ang lahat ng problema. Pwede mong harapin ang anumang issue or concern na mamimit mo, no? Ang laking bagay na alam mong meron kang kakampi sa buhay. And of course, napaka-importante kung ang mga kakampi mong ito, yung mga karamay mo, ay mga kasama mo sa family, your family members. In the same way, ikaw rin, pwede ka ring maging kakampi ng family member mo. I can speak for myself, kahit na bata pa yung anak ko, it feels very reassuring Whenever she says something to me that affirms me, when she tells me that she loves me, I'm the best mom in the world, those little things can really go a long way, and it really helps me. I feel like I can do a lot of things. I can face a lot of challenges because I know that someone's got my back. Of course, iba rin yung support na nabibigay sa akin ng aking asawa, and the support that we give to one another, right? Of course, it's a different kind of support, but because I am speaking with young people right now, I just want to assure you that no matter how young you are, if you make an effort really to set aside time to ask each member of the family how they are, it will mean a world of difference. Magkikwento lang ako, itong picture na to, we took this in time. We had this shoot, family shoot in during the pandemic, in a safe parang private studio. This studio was owned by a former student of mine. So we tried it out. It was for the occasion of my birthday and our 15th anniversary nung husband ko. So, and Mother's Day na din. So, when we did this, yun nga, occasion of my birthday around that time, nag-dinner kami. And then, after that, while we were having our dinner, nilabas niya yung phone niya. Tapos sabi niya, Mommy, Daddy, let's play a game. And then, nakakatuwa kasi may mga questions siya para sa amin ng daddy niya. And the dinner was fun. It was unique. It was different. Hindi kami kumain lang at nagkwentuhan lang. May mga natutunan pa siya about us na hindi niya alam before. Natuwa siya, natawa kami. And it was a very memorable experience. And it was all her. Siya yung nag-initiate ng lahat ng yon. So, it's amazing how much a young person can do for the family, for her own parents. And I'm sure if you tried it, it can go a long way. And of course, most importantly, a young person can be an agent of hope and can help in the reformation of his or her family through faith formation. It is the children that can really speak volumes when they ask their parents or their family members to pray with them. So, sa inyo na magsimula, don't forget to pray. Ang daming opportunities that we can pray throughout the day. We can pray before meals, we can pray after meals, we can pray in the morning, at the end of the day. Anong dadasalin natin? Pray the rosary, there are prayers of protection. At the end of the day, pray the act of contrition or even novenas to saints. And then remind and encourage each other to spend more time in prayer. Share your prayer journey with one another. Ang prayer journey natin, pwede yang magbago eh. Paminsan talagang you remember how to pray, paminsan nalilimutan, paminsan nagiging dry. But you share that with one another because that makes the journey real and the experience real. And by sharing that with one another, nakikita nyo na kailangan nyo ring tulungan ng isa't isa. Most especially, remind one another to set aside time to go to Mass. Even if we were limited, we couldn't go to Mass physically during the pandemic, pwede pa rin natin yang ipagpatuloy dahil nagkaroon pa rin ng online masses. And nabigyan pa rin tayo ng opportunity para magmisa as a family. So sana ituloy lang din natin ito and tayo mismo magsimula sa atin to remind our family members how important prayer really is. In this slide, makikita nyo merong three angels dyan, no? Sa bottom ng slide. Who do these angels represent? I had three discontinued pregnancies, miscarriages, and it really was very painful for me. And in fact, one happened during the pandemic. And I think dahil dito, of course, ako personally, I went through a lot of physical and emotional pain, no, and it was very difficult to overcome. But somehow, my daughter makes light of things by saying she has three siblings who are all angels already. Yung dalawa came before her, so um, we would like to think that the first one, the eldest, is a boy, and the second one is a girl, and the most recent one during the pandemic is also a girl. So meron kaming mga names for them, and it helps her, no. Even if the experience is very painful, it helps her that she's able to remember that she has three siblings who are angels in heaven, and hindi siya nag-iisa. It's part of or that's why it's part of our family prayer din na pinagdadasal namin sila, si kuya, si ate, at yung younger niyang sibling. And alam nyo, I think that but whenever she talks about them, it also reminds me na to also have hope pa rin, no? To have hope and to feel really blessed, to remember that they are still blessings from God, and she is a very special blessing because she keeps reminding me about that. And whenever I feel sad or lonely, or I recall the pain that I experienced during the time that I lost them, uh, she gives me a hug, and it's enough to comfort me, no? Um, I believe it's also, as parents, it was also and continues to be a responsibility to make each experience, each conversation with her a teaching experience. And I'm just so happy that we were able to pass on this kind of faith to our daughter. We are blessed because my husband and I, we met in a missionary community, charismatic community, Catholic community. We both came from families whose parents joined community when we were very young. And then dito na kami nagkakilala, dito na kami lubusang nakilala ang Diyos at ang isa't isa. And that led us to marriage also. That's why we feel blessed that we were able to provide this kind of environment para sa aming anak. And I would like to believe that it is because of this that she has become she sees herself as an active member of this family, no matter how young she is, and she's able to become a glimmer of hope for us, despite the circumstances that we are in, even before and during the pandemic. So the next question that we are being asked in this session is, what are your family's personal advocacies or actions taken during the pandemic that can be emulated by others, especially those of the young people? This photo that was taken during the pandemic, we decided as a family, this was last year, to go on a family retreat. Just the three of us, no? We prayed the rosary. We did a liturgical Bible study. We took this photo after we did the liturgical Bible study session. We had prayer time in the morning. And then we just talked about our faith journey. My husband and I talked about our faith journey to our daughter, and we also asked her some questions. And it was we really went to a place. It's near Tagaytay, but it was already Batangas. We were able to ask a friend from community if we could use their place. It's a very peaceful and restful place, and it was just the three of us. It had a garden. It was overlooking the lake. We could see the volcano, and it was a very relaxing time. It was just overnight. But as a family, we really were blessed with that opportunity to reflect and to have that retreat. You don't go out to just have fun, to have recreation, it was a very beautiful experience that we were able to go out as a family and pray together. Iba kasi pag nagdadasal ka sa bahay, iba rin na nandun ka sa ganong klaseng surroundings. And it was so inspiring. It was so moving. I think this really helped. And this is one of the things that we did as a family. It's important that we pray together. It's important that when we have an opportunity to go on a trip, that we don't just do fun things, but we also remember to pray. We also remember to go to mass, to take each moment, each opportunity that we get to pray. In the car, we would pray the rosary, going to and from. Pag inabutan ng 3 o'clock, kahit saan man, we would pray the Divine Mercy Chaplet. Talagang we filled those 2 days with so much prayer. We just wanted to continue the culture na nasimulan, especially nung nag-pandemic na dahil dun sa takot natin, karamihan sa atin talaga napadasal talaga ng husto. No? So sabi namin, we were reminded during the pandemic how prayer is so important. So sana matuloy natin. And that was one thing that we did that I hope a lot of families can also take the time to do the same. So also during this pandemic, we were able to participate in different advocacies that remind us that when we serve, we should be able to give service across the borders. The borders that were set during the pandemic, during our circumstances, was the lockdown. They were physical borders. We couldn't go out. As youth ministers, we could not, as youth coordinators, hindi namin magawa yung mga plano namin. Hindi kami maka-reach out dun sa youth physically, dun sa normal way that they were used to. But that didn't mean na dapat tumigil kami. #keep going. Ang reminder sa amin was, do not let your circumstances limit you. And this is a reminder that I'd like to share with everybody. God calls us to fulfill a specific purpose using the talents that He has blessed us with, no matter our circumstances. So one of the things that I told you we were called to do during the pandemic was to form our parish social media team. And in this photo at the leftmost, this was already this year, and medyo marami na kaming volunteers dyan. May mga nag-handle ng streaming, ng documentation, ng photo, video, graphic design, layout, managing the page. No, we were able to do this for our parish kahit na pandemic, especially during the pandemic. Hindi tumigil. In fact, nung nag-lockdown, the announcement came on the 12th of March 2020, the Sunday after, meron na agad kaming online mass. Hindi kami nagpalimita dun sa circumstances natin. Meron na agad online mass. And I'm very happy for that, no? Na nagawa natin yan para sa ating parish. Nabigyan natin ng tulong yung ating parish. And hanggang ngayon, tuloy-tuloy pa rin. Kahit na may mga physical masses na, kasi we realized that we were able to reach so many more people. And even those who couldn't attend mass physically pre-pandemic, nakakapag-attend na ng mass at nakakapag-offer na ng prayers through the online masses of the parish. Of course, in the middle, you will see ano yung nauso nung pandemic, no? Mga Zoom screenshots. Alright, so this is a Zoom screenshot of the parish youth ministry in one of our online activities. This was an online liturgical Bible study wherein we invited young professionals. And this is just one of the things that we were able to do. Nag-isip talaga tayo ng mga paraan with the youth leaders para mabigyan sila ng pagkakataon na magpatuloy sa mga activities. No? Of course, hindi kami maka-reach ng sobrang dami because of limitation din ng internet connection. But we still kept going. We kept trying. So we were able to do liturgical Bible studies with the young professionals of our parish. And then, meron din kaming tinatawag na youth camp, online youth camp. We had a media missionary workshop, in of course parang joint effort with the social media ministry. We were able to attend a lot of online activities. Nakapagbigay din kami ng mga workshops sa youth through our parish Facebook page. And the next one is related to this third photo on the rightmost of the slide. Through the work that I used to do as a lay missionary, I was a lay missionary for 16 years. I was able to continue offering mental health, participating in the mental health advocacy by offering mental health sessions to the youth in our parish and to other groups in different parts of the country, other parishes, and even in different parts of the world, no, even in other countries. I believe that mental health was a very hot topic during the pandemic. And because of that, because of the training that I've had also and the experience that I have, I felt that it was important to be able to reach out, especially to those who needed to hear that our mental health matters, to break the stigma so that each person who is in need of help, is in need of assistance, will be able to know who can help him or her. And each person who can help others will be able to bridge that, the gap between those who are needed, who need to help, those who need help, and those who can help. We were able to continue volunteering for this online advocacy that we did for mental health awareness. And of course, patuloy natin itong ginawa at ginagawa even now. It's important, nakita natin that this is one thing that we would always take for granted. But if your mental health is, when your mental health is concerned, and everything else is affected. You won't be able to do your day-to-day tasks because your mental capacity, your ability to process these tasks and to tell your body what to do, to be healthy. We learned that a person who has mental health issues, it will be difficult to stay healthy because your mind is preoccupied and it cannot really function as it should. So these are some of the things that we were able to do during the pandemic. We were able to participate, and ito yung response namin sa hashtag keep going. Our family was involved in all of these things, and it really was a great big help to be of service to others despite the limitations, despite the circumstances. At this point, I'd like to share with you a very short video which was used as the introduction to the online youth camp that we organized for our youth members in the parish. It's called Tinig ng Kabataan, and it's an offshoot from the online show that we were able to launch during the pandemic also. We were able to produce several episodes during the first year of the pandemic, and we were able to ask the youth members to participate in that online show. So it was called the same title, Tinig ng Kabataan. And at the end of that season, we were able to conduct, as I said earlier, an online youth camp entitled also Tinig ng Kabataan. So let me share with you this short video clip.
Ang tawag ng Panginoon sa atin ngayon, paano natin maipapakita ang pagmamahal ng Diyos sa sarili nating buhay, at gamit ang ating tinig, paano natin na ibabahagi si Kristo sa kapwa nating kabataan.
Oh, ano pa ang hinihintay nyo? Sabay-sabay nating iparinig sa mundo ang ating mga tinig.
Ko matutupang makisaya, ang mundo may magkaiba. Sabay-sabay kung mag-ingay, makilahok, magpapalala.
Brothers and sisters, it is possible. We can be instruments of hope for our own family and for other families within our community. Whether we are still in the pandemic or even after, it is possible to find different ways how we can help in the reformation of our families. Some families might be burdened by their own personal issues, personal concerns, issues with their family dynamics, and perhaps we won't be able to do anything about that as young people. But we can still be an agent of reformation by giving hope for them in the areas that we have discussed. And by being creative, also resourceful, and brave and sensitive to the leading of the Lord. Continue to pray because you do not know how God will use you, especially for your families. Even as a young person, do not be troubled or do not be burdened or do not feel that this is a limitation. It is not. Keep going, sabi nga natin, di ba? Hashtag keep going. No matter what the circumstances are, keep praying and keep asking the Lord for guidance and for help. Finally, we are reminded in this verse, if you are young in years but feel weak, weary, or disillusioned, ask Jesus to renew you. With him, hope never fails. This photo that I'm sharing with you was just this year, June, no? When things were starting to open up, and this was the first face-to-face activity that you're able to participate in as a family. Kung nakikita nyo yung nakalagay sa likod, kung nababasa nyo, nakalagay doon, live the faith. This is actually presenting one of the pillars of the Live Christ, Share Christ mission with the new one, the newest pillar, which is called Live the Faith. And para sa akin, may meaning lang yung photo kasi this was the first event, as I said, na na-attenda namin ulit as a family. And yung live the faith is very symbolic for us na to keep going, to live out the faith that we have. And I think this is a very strong message for all of us. No matter what your age is. And sana, and most especially because we are a member of a family, sana we're able to live the faith no matter what the circumstances are. Sana we'll be able to find out how we can put our faith into action. And we won't be able to do that if we do not ask Jesus for help. Jesus is the only way. And sabi nga natin, with Jesus, hope never fails. There will always be hope. Even if you feel like you are desperate, that you have reached the bottom of the pit, it's not true. Jesus is always there for you. He will never abandon you. He will never forsake you. So just call on him, and he will give us the hope that we need, no matter how young we are, no matter how limited we are. I hope that through this session, we were reminded of how much we can do no matter what our age is. Let not all of these circumstances limit you. Be strong, be brave, and be the person that God has called you to be. And remember to always look to him for guidance and strength. God bless everybody. Have a good day.